Today, I'm going to take you through how we get $1 million deal done in 40 days, all from a cold LinkedIn outreach campaign. And what's so cool about this story and about this client, about this result specifically, is that before us, this client had to fly to all different types of conferences and in-person events, and they thought that they would just have to do a lot of face-to-face conversations in order to get deals done. So when we came in with this approach, we completely changed the game for this company, because now no longer did the CEO have to fly around to all these places, and they actually had a system, a way they could feed the sales team with deals of people who took them seriously because of the messaging and because of the signals that we were able to put together. So let's break that in today. So what's important to know is that the playbooks that a lot of companies are still using are not working anymore. We look at 2022, it used to be where it was a spray and pray. Let's send as many connection requests as we possibly can, because the math would work. If you were sending out 100 connection requests and you're only getting a 1-2% reply rate, that was okay. That meant the company was booking, 20, 30 sales calls every single month. Nothing to shake a fist at. But then I noticed in 2024, because we oversee a lot of accounts, we have a software called Connector. We've helped over 500 clients now do these campaigns on LinkedIn. And we really started to see things change, because LinkedIn, and they came in and they made dramatic changes as to how you're using the platform. So the first one they did was they took away the ability to send 100 connection requests per day. And they actually limited it to about 200 connection requests per week. So to the tune of around 40 days, 40 connection requests really per day, Monday to Friday, is really what we're seeing as the max of what we can send. But that's on a really well-used profile. If you're the average Joe who isn't posting content very regularly, if you don't already have a ton of connections, if you don't have incoming connection requests happening every day, if you're not commenting and engaging in various circles on LinkedIn, then we tend to see a lower social selling index score. And the lower the score, then the lower your ability to really max out how much LinkedIn is going to allow you to do a connection request activity without banning your account and telling you that you're breaking the terms of service. So even when we use platforms that allow us to go to the maximum, we prefer to use a platform like Connector, which is very safe from getting accounts blocked or banned. Because once you get a LinkedIn profile banned, there's no coming back from it. It's very hard to get back. Thankfully, I've never had to go through that with any of my own profile or any of the profiles at our company or any of our clients, because that is something that we take so careful with. We do not blur the lines. We follow the terms of service, because there's no getting it back. So we want to be very careful with that. But once the limits changed, we knew that the game was changing. We had to find a new way. So now in 2026, we are really only using one style of campaigns, and that is optimizing for signal-based prospects. We are looking for prospects who showed the market, they've raised their hand, and they're trying to solve for a very specific problem that we know that our clients have with their products and their services. So that is the playbook today. Things have changed from going from just using something like a sales navigator filter, where we are applying things like a job title, a company size, revenue levels. Sales Navigator likes to say that they have intent data, things around job changes. But I think everyone's using job changes, and the minute the job change happens, I think that prospects, that profile's LinkedIn account just blows up like crazy. And now you are just landing in the spam filter just the same way as everybody else. What we are seeing working incredibly well is utilizing what's happening with the 360 brew. So ensuring that our clients have the right signals already existing within the profile itself and the content that they're putting out, so that 360 brew, that is the algorithm change, can allow them to show you and your content to the right people on the platform. That's based on what it says and what it has in it. And then on top of that is the AI and scraping platforms that we use to look for places like Instagram, LinkedIn, Reddit, YouTube, podcasts. There's all these different ways in which we can identify, okay, these are the products and services that our clients have. Here are all the different keywords and associations that would tell us that somebody, when they are, let's say, an executive from a fintech company of this specific title has gone and engaged with this podcast that's around the subject of what our client does, that's usually somebody who's in a buying pocket. Because what our research has shown us is that over 94% of B2B buyers will enter into a research phase far before they seek out from their peers, from their network, from starting to engage with various vendors to start to look to see what the solve is. And so now that we're able to layer in these very clear signals that somebody is in a need, they've raised their hand, they meet the filter of who an ideal client would be, when we send that person a message, the visceral reaction that tends to happen from a cold message kind of goes away. And we see a very different KPI for acceptance rates and reply rates from signal-based activity versus somebody who just met a sales navigator filter. So what used to work in 2020 up to 2022, where you could go to the market with a direct response style of message, I have this thing, do you want to buy it? And now when you send that message to just whomever in your market because they need to filter, you are just met with absolutely not, get out of my inbox. In fact, never contact me again. In fact, if I ever see you and your company come across my way again, you can be sure that I'm never going to respond because I've filed you in my brain as spam. So congratulations, you just ruined your name. Versus when you're contacting just a handful of people each day instead of blasting a whole bunch of people because you know that they're actively looking for a solution just like yours, you are met with a very different response. And we don't have the fight or flight responses. So it's a really, really cool shift that has happened because it may seem that before the game was pretty easy, but you were just like holding on for dear life, fingers crossed, hoping that you were going to hit that 1% reply rate and just met with no, 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 no. Versus now we know that people really are entering into this buying pocket, as we call it here at Sales Bites. So we've also referred to this as like it's a dark funnel. There is a whole dark funnel of people who are actively looking for your products and services and you just have no idea. They're reading your competitors' content. They're hanging out in forums like on Reddit. There's different hiring news that is happening, but there's ways outside of the sales navigator filtering to help us determine who is ready to buy our products and services. So that again, when an outreach message is sent to these people, it is met with praise. It is met with being, oh my God, how do you know that I was thinking of that? And so it's a very cool reaction that tends to happen. And we don't have to lower our status either when we are doing these style of outreach messages because we know that the person that we're reaching out to is in genuine need of that client's product or service. So when we're using these style of campaigns and these style of list building, it is very, very important that you do not go beyond a 7-day window. There is no point in picking up a signal from an executive who put this signal out 3 months ago or even 3 weeks ago. You really only want to be going back as far as 7 days. Because again, if you remember, I said 94% of B2B buyers will enter into this research phase. You have to collect this lead within the research phase so that they put you on a short list. Because if you're on the short list of the people of whom they're thinking of working with, typically the first person that they reach out to, typically the first person that they talk to is the company that they're going to be working with. So if you identify this signal too late, too far down the road, it really doesn't matter anymore how good your offer is, how many good your case studies are, how great your customer service is, all of those things. You're just not even being considered anymore. So it's really, really important that A, you only go back on data as far as 7 days, and B, you have a way to reach out to this person within 48 hours. And so the first place that we look to do that is making a connection with them on LinkedIn. And then, of course, there is cold emailing and there is cold calling. So you do want to have systems that can support that. You want to have systems that use a little bit of AI to properly determine the score of this lead. Like, how important is it to go and scrape for further information, to go and find the details so that you can make a phone call, so that you can send an email and make sure that you land in the inbox? And that is based on a scoring factor. So do consider that if you are looking at using this signal-based intelligence style to run your campaigns. Don't go far too back and ensure that your systems can prioritize to make sure that the outreach happens a maximum 48 hours to make that connection happen. So this is based off a lot of the data. As mentioned, we've worked with over 500 clients inside of the industry. And when we do, we have a lot of really cool deals happen. So we had a client who did a $336,000 contract. We had another client who in the agency space, they did a $100,000 deal in the pipeline, and they now book 3 discovery calls a day. And we've even had it down the way to much smaller operators who did $9,000 in cash collected in less than 40 days when we installed this system, and where they went on to book 3 to 4 calls every single week. But the patterns that we see across with the clients that we work with is that it's not an offer problem, and it's never a platform problem. For anybody putting LinkedIn in the category of this doesn't work anymore and the game is dead, you're just using the wrong playbook. And really all that is trumping everything right now is timing and making sure that we're reaching out to that prospect when they're in an actual buying window. So if you want to see if a system like this would work for you, I do have a link for you down below. You can book a call under our AI Signal Advantage. That is a platform that we run with companies who are particularly in a B2B sales process. You're doing at least $500,000 in recurring revenue every single year, and you have a proven offer. This is not something that's brand new to you and you're trying to get off the ground. You've been able to sell this, and you've been able to sell this successfully. But if you're still stuck in referral, or if you don't know why your outbound campaigns aren't working anymore, or the paid campaign that you spent, on LinkedIn or on Meta is not bringing you the deals or bringing you the right people, it's probably because of who you're targeting, and it probably is because of your messaging and your positioning. All things of what we work with. And in fact, if you want to talk to me about being a revenue share partner where we actually don't collect anything from you until a deal is done, I do have space for 2 more of those partners that I'm looking for in the next quarter. And if you want to find out more about that, you can book a call with me. It's a 15-minute call. It's just a very quick introductory call to see, is your business something that I would know how to scale? And if it is something that I would know how to scale, then we'll book a next call where we'll talk a lot more about the strategy side of things. And if it's not, I'll be very real with you because I'm not looking to waste your time, and certainly not looking to waste my time. So if that's you, be sure to click on the link below, book a call with me. But if you're still with me this far in the video, please make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe, because I put out new videos every single week on how we use platforms like LinkedIn and Meta to book more B2B sales calls. Cheers.